The story of Ignacio Varga has been one of the most interesting of Better Call Saul. When we meet Nacho in season 1, he's the right-hand man of Tuco, which immediately makes his morals pretty questionable. But we quickly learn through the incident in the desert that Nacho is very different to Tuco's other yes men. He's intelligent, he's rational, and he actually thinks about the consequences of decisions before making them. Nacho was also very ambitious in the early seasons, and that ambition eventually led to him selling drugs behind Tuco's back, and of course he wanted to assassinate Tuco to make sure his independent ventures were secure. We've been watching Nacho on the defensive for so long now, it's easy to forget that early on, he was a very, very dangerous player in the game. When he feels threatened, he's not one to just sit back and hope for the best. What makes Nacho's arc especially interesting to me is he actually gets everything he desired in season 1. He gets the money, the mansion, the cars, the power, but all those things become worthless when his life and the life of his father are at stake every single day. It goes to show that in this world, unless you make it to the very, very top like Eladio, Gus, or even Walter at the height of his powers, you're never truly free. Nacho might have gone from a pawn to a bishop, but he's still at the mercy of the true players. Now Nacho enters season 6 at his most vulnerable point. The hit on Lalo failed, the power he was about to receive from Eladio is obviously off the table, and he has no idea what Gus plans to do with him now. So, to understand what role Nacho could play in the final season of Better Call Saul, there are a couple questions that need to be answered. So, what are Nacho's goals? What challenges are in the way of these goals? And what friends does he have to help overcome the challenges? His goals aren't too difficult to decipher. He, of course, wants to escape the game with his father, and I think it's safe to say that he would prioritize his father's escape over his own. And I don't think that holding on to some of his wealth is a priority at all. He simply wants to hit the reset button for himself and his father, similar to how Jesse did. Unfortunately for Nacho, Lalo is on his way to Albuquerque, and it's fair to assume that Nacho is his number one priority. It remains to be seen what support Lalo will have in his pursuit of Nacho. As I've mentioned in many videos to this point, the reaction Don Eladio has to the assassination attempt will significantly impact what characters can and cannot do. For example, if Eladio believes everything Lalo tells him, Leonel and Marco would probably be allowed to go help their cousin in Albuquerque. Gus Fring is also another major question mark. In Season 5, it was implied that if everything went according to plan for Gus, Nacho would be disposed of, but things did not go according to plan for Gus, so because of that, I think there's a very high likelihood that Gus will change his tune on Nacho. One thing that has always been somewhat strange to me is the fact that Mike is extremely loyal to Gus in Breaking Bad. Now we know that Mike is really Nacho's only friend left at this point, and we also know that nobody knows Lalo better than Nacho. So Gus has an opportunity. He can team up with Nacho to take down Lalo, and when the job is finished, he can grant Nacho's wish to help him and his father disappear. This would secure Mike's loyalty. It'd be a win-win for Gus. It's hard to speculate about what approach Gus, Mike, and Nacho could take to bring down Lalo because, again, there are many questions that must be answered first. I'm sure Jimmy and Kim could also factor in at some point, but that trio is not one to take lightly. Those are three extremely intelligent men. I could also very much envision a scenario where the season begins with Lalo killing Nacho's father. From a storytelling perspective, it'd be a damn good way to show Lalo's rage and how ruthless he can be. And it would also turn Nacho's final season into a little revenge story, which personally, I would be extremely interested in. Also, I find it very unlikely that Lalo's story will end without him killing a couple characters we know. The only characters that he could possibly kill are Nacho, Nacho's father, and Kim, so you'd have to think Nacho's father is the most likely of the three. So to sum things up, Nacho's role in Season 6 is extremely dependent on what Lalo chooses to do in Albuquerque. If Lalo comes back and focuses on taking down Gus and his business, then Nacho can assist Gus in outwitting Lalo in order to gain freedom for himself and his father. If Lalo returns and kills Nacho's dad, then Nacho's only motivation will be revenge, which will also lead him to a partnership with Gus. So I don't think that part can be avoided. There seem to be a good amount of people who think that Lalo will end up surviving Season 6. The only piece of evidence for Lalo surviving is the fact that Jimmy believes he's alive in Breaking Bad, but of course, Gus believes he's dead, and for me, Gus is the more reliable source for that type of information.
He was the only family you had left. Now, the Salamanca name dies with you.
And if you believe that Lalo survives, you'd also have to believe that Nacho will die in Season 6, because we all know Lalo isn't going to walk away knowing that Nacho is still roaming around somewhere. Nacho surviving and Lalo dying is the more probable result, in my humble opinion, or they could fatally injure each other in a shootout or something. But if you think I'm missing something in this picture, feel free to let me know in the comments section. Out of all the characters I've talked about so far, the role of Nacho in Season 6 isn't too foggy. From the very beginning, the writers have tied Nacho and Lalo together. Nacho is the first person to meet Lalo. In fact, in that very scene, when Lalo offers him a taco, he says, "You're going to die," which definitely could be some foreshadowing. Their fates are definitely intertwined, but to what end remains to be seen. I don't have too many characters left to speculate about for Season 6, but if you have some recommendations, let me know in the comment section. Juan Bolsa could be worth a video, but that would certainly be a tricky one. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and want more Better Call Saul content, subscribe on your way out. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I will talk to you soon.